you're joining me again on the menu, this is a show aimed at showing you how to make the restaurant standard recipes in the comfort of your own home. Yes, you can make it. I'll show you how to do this. Very simple ingredients, just a bit of meat, flour, water, a bit of margarine, some eggs, and some breadcrumbs. Let me show you how to make this beautiful, crispy, delicious, small, tiny flavor bomb. Right, so what I'm gonna do first, in this pot, I've got some hot oil. So I'll take my meat and I'm just going to dunk it in there. That looks beautiful. I've got a beautiful sizzle. It means my oil was hot enough. So, okay. So what I'm just looking for is a browning on my meat. I'm just looking to just make it a little brown, and then all that redness goes away. That's all you need, and you're done. You're a master chef. Can you imagine that? Huh? Just a bit of browning. Yeah. So while this browns, in this pot I have water. About 1.5 cups of boiling water. Okay. I'll need mugot, our wooden spoon. It's boiling. So I've got flour in here, some salt, about 1.5 teaspoons. I also need some margarine, about a tablespoon. Remember, this is just water, about 1.5 cups. I've added 1.5 teaspoons rather of salt, a tablespoon of margarine. Right, I'm just dunking my flour. Huh? Right, give it a toss. Right, so what happens is now your flour starts to bind into a ball, and that's all I need. Right, can you see my flour is binding into a ball? I think I need to add a bit more. I want a solid ball, something more solid. Okay. So my flour is in there, salt, margarine, just a tablespoon of cooking oil. Then you mix it. Right. Now my bowl is very stiff. You can see how stiff it is. That's what I'm looking for. Right. Okay, this looks perfect. So what I'm looking for now again is to make sure that all the flour has been dissolved into this dough. This is what we call a dough. Right. Okay, all the flour is done and my meat is still caramelizing, getting golden. I'm not even using a lot, eh? This can feed about 20 people. The menu gives you simple ingredients that go a long way. Very simple. Okay. This needs to go off the stove, onto the side, and then I'll show you in about 2 minutes or so how to wrap this up. Right, we are making half moons, remember. A small, tiny, crunchy deliciousness that you can serve on parties, you can serve at restaurants, you're having a wedding. You can just enjoy it with your family. Why not, hey? This is the menu. This is where it all happens, right? Remember we had our meals going on. We made a beautiful dough, flour, water, a bit of margarine, and then we just mixed it. Right, so I'm just letting it rest for a few seconds while I cut my onion. I need about half an onion or a quarter. Now if you don't like onions, remember this is cooking. If you don't like onion, you don't put onion. You like onion like me, why not? It's a beautiful flavorant. Right, just very tiny cubes. Rustic. This is home cooking. You don't have to make it complicated. You know, I hear people say, but this is the thing. Kubika, you have to practice. You have to enjoy it. And naso wakaita wakataza, why not try it again tomorrow? Let's go fire. Right, in goes our onion. Wakono wataza, doesn't matter. Practice, practice, practice. some spices. Now, people would ask me, what spices are you using? Right. You get into a supermarket, you know you want to cook means, and it's a beef means. Right. Try to get anything that's written beef something, a beef spice, beef barbecue, beef Portuguese. You know, the list is so endless. Beef is the main ingredient. I just, simple, just throw them in there. Right, there goes. That's it. That's it. So now I'm just sweating down my onions. That's sweating. That's sweating it down. That's what it means. Right. That's beautiful. And when I'm sweating this, I'm just going to take again. Remember, flour, 1 cup of flour, 1.5 cups of water. We added in 1.5 teaspoons the salt. We added in margarine, just about a tablespoon. Kalsina margarine, why not use oil? We just want an oil component in there. That's perfect. Then onto my board. Now I'm kneading it. A bit of flour. We're not using so much. So you knead with the palm of your hand. Remember, the palm, chitsitsino of your hands, this one, not the tips. So this one brings it backwards, top, bring it backwards. That's called kneading. Look at not kunida. The tips, just here. Okay. This is looking perfect. It's smooth. And that's perfect. Now, the turn out how far with our meals. Okay. So I need to clear up and then bring back the other ingredients and then tie this in together. Right. So I've removed my meals from the pan. I just let them cool down just for about 5 minutes. Now, I've taken a new pan because I want to then fry these in here. Okay. On about 6, heat your oil because now we're frying them. So I'm just rolling out my dough into a very thin sheet-like. Okay. Just roll it. You take your water glass. Just make some rings. What's left? The filling. If you're not so precise, you can fold them in half like this. Badaro, on the half side, just take a bit of your filling. Right, I want somewhere where there's some onion, some beans. Just make sure you don't overfill it. Right, fold it in half and pinch the tops. Just pinch the tops where it's open. Just pinch it like that. I've got my friend who calls this the honeymoons. Actually, they're the half moons. But they're so good. They're just like your honeymoon. So I've finished just turning my half moons and they look pretty small, crunchy now. Now, the crunchiness is brought about by this little island that I have here. Some flour, some egg. Here, I've got breadcrumbs. These are breadcrumbs that you buy in the supermarket. You can make your own and then put some coloring with turmeric. Okay, first dip them into your flour. Now, you can put a bit of salt and pepper into this flour, into the egg. Right, into the egg. Hey, this is the kitchen. You shouldn't be afraid to use your hands. Now, you dunk them into your breadcrumbs. So I've braided my half moons. Remember, this is the dough that we dipped into. 1, flour, 2, eggs, then lastly into breadcrumbs so that your breadcrumbs can stick. Now I'm taking these into my hot oil. This looks beautiful. So now the breadcrumbs are what's gonna give that crunchiness. Yes. Okay, so about 2 minutes or so on each side. Right, so my half moons are beautiful, golden, and they look delicious. So I'm using a slotted spoon to remove them out of the oil into a plate. Look at that. I know most of you have seen this in parties, in weddings, and you've wondered, what is that? So now you can make it in the comfort of your own beautiful kitchen. Beautiful, golden, delicious. So just let this rest for a few minutes because they're so hot, and then we'll show you how to serve it all up later. This is the menu where we make delicious things happen in the comfort of your own home. Right, now I've moved on to dessert. I started with something that's crunchy, that's a starter, but every meal needs a dessert to just complete it, you know. I mean, people think of dessert, they think ice cream, they think jelly, they think pudding, huh? But really there's some things that you can do in the comfort of your own home that's so easy. With biscuits, hey? Banana. With me here, I've got some condensed milk, melted margarine, some cream, a bit of sugar. So I just want to combine that all up. So what I need to do first, right, some condensed milk into a pan that's heating. Keep your stove at about 4. Right, in goes my tin of condensed milk. I also need some golden syrup, about 30 ml of golden syrup. Right, I'm enjoying this. Okay, that looks beautiful. I'll put this away. Perfect. Now I'll need about a quarter cup of 40 ml, 60 ml of cream. I just put it in there. Imagine, it's just being on the stove, dunking everything in there, and you've got something delicious to serve for your dessert. Sugar. It's about 3 tablespoons. In goes. Right. Margarine. Hey, this is a dessert. You know, when you're doing dessert, is the time that you don't really want to be counting those calories, you know. Some margarine in there. So I'm going to let this melt, and then it's going to thicken into a golden caramel. So I'll need about 10 minutes to do that. Right. So while this is melting on about 5, 4, yeah, depending on your stove, I'll be showing you how to make the best of this beautiful pie, because I'm going to be making a Benofee pie. Right, just come with me here. I've got some beautiful biscuits. Use whatever you have in your cupboard. Right, I also have got some chocolate. Mostly something that's not flavored, a plain, simple milk chocolate, yeah. Bananas. Okay. I've got some melted margarine. I'm making a Benofee pie. Now, there's no pie without a crust, and there's no pie without a filling. So for my filling, I'm doing a caramel. So what I did here, I just put some condensed milk, a bit of cream, some margarine, and I also added in a bit of sugar. So what I'm doing, I'm just trying to make it a little more golden and a little more thicker. You can see it's still very runny. So I want it to thicken up and just have a beautiful golden color. But while this is becoming golden, I'm going to be showing you how to do the crust. And I'm taking my biscuits into a plastic bag. Just a simple plastic bag. Who said it is simple? Keep it simple. Keep it, huh? So that you enjoy it. And now it's time to release some pressure. Just crush them. Crush. I can hear that sound. It's crushing. Okay. To just help me out, I've got a rolling pin. I'm just crushing. And those who've got fancy stuff in the kitchens, you can use a blender. Just put them in the blender, blend them for a few seconds until they're all crushed. So I'm making a Benofee pie. This is a dessert. Simple dessert with a base of biscuits that I'm going to put in some melted margarine. I just crushed my biscuits, melted my margarine, and then in here I've got a caramel. So in this caramel, just condensed milk, a bit of cream, some sugar, and then now it's thickening and turning golden and beautiful, delicious. Now, some people might want it a little bit more golden than that. Now, it's okay. Remember, cooking is all about choices. I'll mix this in. Yeah. Now, some people might add about a pinch of salt. I'm not a fan of doing that. and I've got a pie dish here. Now, if you don't have this, you can use, you know, the dishes that are like this, the glass ones, the one that you use for casseroles. You can also use a cake tin, right? So what do? I put them all in there. Very simple, very easy. Right. Next, the part that I love, I use my hands just to put them all in on the edges. Right. Just spread it so that it comes to the edges. It also comes to the bottom. Right, I'm just tightly packing them, because if you don't do it so tight, what will happen is when you're cutting up your pie, it will just disintegrate. So you need to pack them tightly. Just make sure they're tightly packed. Right, so this is done. What I need to do now, I'm going to some oven for about 5 minutes. You know, I just want it to set. While it's setting, I'll be cutting bananas, I'll be cutting my chocolate, wow, this is going to be a feast for the eyes. Right, now I need to cut my bananas into rings. Just peel off your banana, cut it into rings. I think that's fine. Okay, so now what I need to do is to take my caramel and just put it into my base like that. Some might like a more golden caramel, that's up to you, it's perfectly fine. And now I need to remove the bananas onto my pie dish, just like that. Right, just round the pie dish. That's where the Benofee comes from, banana and toffee. Right, that's beautiful. Okay, and now I've got some cream. What I'll do with this cream is I'm just going to put it on top and then just spread it. I think I need a little bit more. I underestimated my tin. So let me just grab some more cream and then remove all those bananas, and I'll show you how to just complete this dish. Now, to just finish this off, I've got some beautiful pieces of chocolate. Now, with the back of my knife, I'm just going to be sliding it down gently. Until you get everything perfectly right. Right, let me just show you. Are these beautiful curls? Huh? That makes a beautiful dessert. Now that's dessert. You've got chocolate, you've got toffee, you've got banana. Right, so I'm just putting in the last of my chocolate shavings, and I'll put this into the fridge. Your dessert is ready. What you just need is to chill it, wait for your dinner, your lunch, and then when people are done with eating, serve them that beautiful, beautiful pie right here on the menu. Have you ever imagined frying a boiled egg? Yeah, you did hear me right. I said frying a boiled egg. I'm going to show you how to do that while I make my egg pilau. So what I need for this is some eggs. I used about 4. I'll need some rice. Right. I also need a bit of spices, some gram masala. I'll need some curry powder, some coriander, some bay leaf, garlic and ginger paste. You know, I need some red pepper, some onion, tomato, and I'm just going to mix that up into a beautiful vegetarian pilau. Now, this recipe can be done with meat, but I've decided to go vegetarian because it's not every day that we have meat, hey? So, I'll be frying a boiled egg. Imagine that. Okay, so let's do that. 4 boiled eggs into a pan, hot with oil. Okay, now, I'll just need to fry this. So what I'm looking for is just for it to be a bit golden, and then some curry powder. some gram masala. Yeah. Why not just put in all the spices? I love that. Okay. So while this is cooking, a quarter of an onion. Okay. Well, always we keep an eye on what we have on the stove. You must be able to multitask. Otherwise, when you're cutting up my onions and stuff, we don't want that. Okay, perfect. So onions, red pepper, tomato. I'm just cutting this into a very rough chop. Small cubes. Right. Right. I also need to do a chop of the tomato. Yes, I'm going to chop the tomato. Some of you need to grate. Grating is fine. But there's sometimes that you need something rustic, something homely, you know. And this is where we use the whole tomato. So yeah, my eggs have been fried enough. So I'll remove them, yeah, into this beautiful plate. I fried them for about 2 or 3 minutes. Right. Beautiful. So what do I need now? I just take my pan off the stove just for a few seconds. And now in here, in the pan that I used to fry my eggs with all the spices, I'm going to put in my onions and my red peppers. Right, back onto the stove, fry that up. So what we're looking for right now is to make the onions just sweat down and be translucent. Right, I'm going to be using some bay leaf. Throw that inside. Okay, I'm going to be adding in some garlic and ginger. Right, that looks beautiful. Now, while this is just cooking down, now the tomato, remember, I said this is home cooking with a touch of restaurant style. So, home cooking. I'm going to be cutting my tomato. I'll take this off the stove so that my spices don't burn. Right. A rough chop on my tomatoes. You can grate this if you wish. But sometimes you just need to have the whole tomato in there. It's beautiful. It's got all the flavors. It's got all the nutrients. Yeah, boo. Into the pot. And I'm just cooking down my tomatoes. Right. So I need to cook this until all the tomatoes are really cooked down. And then we'll bring back the fried mazai. And then in here, let me tell you what I did here. This is rice. So this is just the long grain rice. Any sort of rice. Just cook it until it's almost cooked, eh? Because traditionally a pilau, when you're making it, you have to use uncooked rice. But this is traditionally with meat. But because the eggs are already boiled, I don't want to make them too tough. So I decided to parboil my rice until it was almost done. So when I add it in here, add some water again, it's going to cook perfectly. Right. So my tomatoes have wilted down, my onions have wilted down, the spices smell divine. Now, you take your eggs, put them back inside. Right. Okay. Just give them a toss so that they coat. Right. Okay. Okay. This looks good. Let me just show you. Hey. Yeah, la. Restaurant comes home. Right, so this is what we did. We did some half moons. We did a dessert, a Benofee pie. Now we are doing an egg pilau. This is going to be our main meal. So we've got a starter, a main meal, and a dessert, all in about 30 minutes. So Just a beautiful decorative leaf. These are spices or herbs. Just decorate your plates. Play around with colors. Be very playful. Right, that's looking beautiful already. Okay. All right, I think that's looking perfect. I've plated my half moons, my Benofee pie. It's now time to be plating the egg pilau. It's looking beautiful. The spices is what makes this dish divine. Right. And the eggs that we fried. We first boiled them, then later on fried them. Huh? How is that? How is that for a meal? Right. I put this here. That looks beautiful. I also need a bit of green in here. Right. That's looking beautiful. Right. Just to carry on with the theme from the starter, I'll be plating. Right. So I've made a 3-course meal. This is a starter, a main meal, and a dessert. Half moons, an egg pilau, and a Benofee pie. I hope you're going to be trying this at home. Catch us again on the menu.